Hi everybody, welcome back to HuffRants. So, in the last episode we talked about Black Friday shopping and how we have gone into this materialistic mindset and how we just need to get out of that. So, kind of going off of that, we're going to talk about something today that really bothers me actually, and it's with kids and electronics. So, have you guys noticed that the toddlers of this generation know how to use tablets? They know how to navigate YouTube. They know how to use smartphones. That's just crazy, right? So, I have a 5-year-old nephew, and he knows how to navigate a Kindle better than my mom does. And granted, my mom didn't grow up with them, and he's growing up with them, yes. But, you can stick that kid in front of the Kindle all day long, and he's totally fine with it. I don't get it. And then the younger one, I watched him today, and, you sit him in front of the TV, and he's good the whole day. That's gotta be doing something to their minds, right? Their attention span is probably just, gone from, this to, this. Okay? And I've even noticed that, too, you know? So, they really, yeah, they're hyper. They're boys. They're, young boys. So, they're gonna be hyper anyway. But the fact, just go outside and play, you know? I don't know, when I was growing up, yeah, I had TV, and I had, some electronics, but, I didn't, okay, so I got my first telephone when I was, or, cell phone, I guess, when I was in the 4th grade, but I only played Snake on it. I didn't really know how to use it, but, and when I went to my dad's house, I would use it to call my mom, but, that was it. That was absolutely it. And it was one of those old Nokia ones that was, this big, and it was a brick. If you threw it at something, it wouldn't even scratch. Nowadays I see kindergartners with their own iPhones and their own iTouches, and it's there's no point. I don't get it. I got my first iPod when I was in the 8th grade, and it was the brick one, and it was black, and it had the swirly thing on it, and I paid for that with my own money, own birthday money. I saved up all of my funds that I had in the 8th grade. If you can imagine, it probably took a while because I wasn't getting an allowance. It took a long time to save up for that. And even then, I wasn't on it all the time. I was a reader. I grew up reading. So even my neck's crooked, okay, because I used to read all the time. And I've decided, looking at all this stuff and, seeing how, addicted to electronics these kids are nowadays, I've decided that I don't want my kids to, have that kind of stuff. Not until they're older, at least. Yeah, it's beneficial. Yes, I agree that, all the smart technology we have now is very, efficient and effective for how our world works. But, the fact that, some kids have big TVs in their rooms at the time that they're born, that's ridiculous. They don't need that. They don't need the TV on to go to bed. You don't need the TV on all the time. I am a TV junkie, but I've grown up and I've made that choice. I know it's an unhealthy one, and I feel bad about it sometimes. Most of the time. But, when I was little, my mom made me go outside, and I hated it. But afterward, I actually had fun. I loved it. So, it's just so frustrating to see this happen. I don't know. I've just decided that when I have kids, and I want kids, I want 3 kids, yeah. So I've decided that when I have kids, they're not going to be able to watch TV when they go to sleep. That's a no. Because it helps them to sleep better anyway if they don't have something going on. The majority of the toys are going to be books. No toys, just books, because yes, I agree. Some toys are very, developmental, especially with, the colors and, the noises, and, it works with, your motor skills and stuff. I'm okay with those. I'm absolutely okay with those. But, and I do get that, kids need toys to play with. I'm not saying that I'm going to restrict them from, all toys. I just feel the amount of toys that children get these days is just so excessive. It's just ridiculous. You can't even walk into some kids' rooms sometimes because it's just so like packed full of toys. Like, why not have them read books? Like, you're increasing their intelligence, right? You are like going to help them in their future if you do that. And you know, you get to spend more time with them because you get to read to them. I could read when I was 2. Okay? And that's because my mom and my grandma and everyone else read with me before, like, when I was that little, you know? So I'm not totally against toys. What I'm against is, like, the unnecessary ones. The ones that are, like, totally ridiculous that the kids are too small to even use. And then I'm also, like, electronics, like, that a 5-year-old can navigate YouTube by himself. That's terrifying. Like, yes, it's very cool. And I'm sure he's not the only one in this generation that's learning that. But he was teaching my mom the other day to use the Kindle. Like, I just don't get it. He can download apps by himself. Like, that is so ridiculous. And I think it's so unnecessary. And it's totally hurting their, like, attention span, and like it's going to hurt their vision. You know, like reading books, you know, that's slower pace. Yes, it's up close, but it's like slower pace. But like watching things on the Kindle, like that's totally like a screen. You know how sometimes when you stare at a screen for a long time, your eyes just hurt, right? So I feel like they're dealing with that their whole life. I have a friend at school. She's, I think she's studying psychology. She's actually looking to do a paper on this, and she came up with no information. Like, she couldn't find anything supporting her argument that, like, electronics are bad for kids. Like, it says, like, you can always find things that are like, oh, set a time limit, you know, like, set an hour time limit per day. But at the same time, it's like, an hour time limit, like, that's still going to have bad effects on their health. You know, if using electronics has bad health effects for adults and for teens, then it's obviously going to have worse effects for children who are more susceptible to, you know, sickness. Their immune system is, like, not as strong as ours. You know, their minds are like sponges. They're just, they catch on so quickly. And so I don't know. I think it's ridiculous. So I want to know what you guys think. I want to know why you would or wouldn't let your child use electronics at a young age. I want you guys to comment on how you feel about toys versus books. Let's see what else. I'm really curious to hear you guys' thoughts on this whole, like, kids and electronics, kids playing outside debate, because it's a big deal, you know, like I haven't had any kids yet, but I have nephews, and I have a little sister, and, like, I'm seeing them grow up, and it's terrifying that they know how to use smartphones and things like that. So I want to know what you guys think. So let me know, and I'll get back to you on that with whatever you comment. I do want to hear your opinions, you know. If you have a good point, let me know. Because maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing something here, which is totally possible. So, and stay tuned for up and coming videos. There's probably going to be more about kids and how they are interacting with our world today. So yeah, see you next time. And that is the kids versus electronics rant today. Thanks. Bye.
Are you going to eat them taters?